Hey, it's Derby Day, Saturday morning. That means it's time for another morning post. Welcome along, everyone. What a day to be on planet Earth. All things Epsom we will be looking at for you this morning. For the next hour or so, stick with me, Dave Orton. Stellar panel coming your way, sponsored by William Hill. We'll be opening up the trading floor and giving you all the pearls of wisdom we possibly can. Don't forget, this is your chance to have a shout out this morning. All the markets are set. We've slept on it. We've seen the Oaks card yesterday. We've got a big guest coming on. Have your shout out. To do that, thumbs up, like and subscribe on YouTube. It's that simple. Get involved. Let us know you're out there. Anything on Twitter, X, whatever you call it now. Hashtag The Morning Post. Right, let's get straight into it, shall we? And welcome along. Who's next to me? Now, you look like a bit of a security guard this morning. I feel like I've got an envoy with me. It's Graeme Rodway. You're obviously going today, I hope.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I can't wait for Derby Day. I've been for years and years and years. Used to go every year. So, yeah, great to be back. I saw myself poking at the edge of the screen there. Looked like I was going to have to shepherd you into the track today, but you're not going, are you?
No. You might need security, I reckon, if you're going with your tipping record, that's for sure. I'm looking at the gentleman on the other sofa as well. Johnny Dineen comes over from Ireland. Always a pleasure to have you in, John. What a day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, the Derby special, isn't it? The English Derby in particular. And even though it doesn't look the greatest race of all time, you never know. There could be a star in amongst them, to be fair. Well, who knows?
We need a star, Kills, don't we, in the coming out of this race?
Yeah, there's none in there yet, are there? Unless see Troy bounces back, of course. Yeah, but having a go at Rodders for looking like a security guard. Look, it's Derby Day. We've all made an effort. I mean, if you were going up to Epsom today, it'd be the man of big will, wouldn't it?
I like it. We're getting the bit of fire already. You're right. I'd be good at that, wouldn't I? All right, you look like you're going, but you're not, and it's your local patch.
It is my local patch. Yeah.
What's the crack there?
Yeah. Well, I'm here. It makes it a bit harder, doesn't it? Like, I could have gone up there, but no, I'm gonna sit at home. My wife's working. I'm looking after the dog. He's 30, and I wouldn't want to leave him all day. So that's it. That's my job. I'll be sitting in front of the telly having a few bits.
Now, did you walk in this morning? This is important.
I walked in this morning. Yes, it was windy. It was cold, ridiculously cold for this time of year. There wasn't a lot of dew around. It's going to be windy all day. It's got to dry out. It'll be virtually good by Derby start time.
Yeah, not exactly what we were expecting.
No, I tell you, I literally played 12 holes of golf yesterday morning at a course that can't be more than 2 miles away from Epsom, and there was standing water on every green. Right. How they missed Thursday's downpours, I just do not know. Yeah, because either side of it, people were texting me saying this is monsoon-like stuff. Like, you know what I mean? And they never got any.
And it has missed, and it has made a big ripple on it. Let's open up the trading floor then. Let's get up to the betting cave that is. Johnny the Judge from William Hill joins us again. Happy Saturday, Derby Day to you, Johnny.
Morning, Dave. Yeah, really looking forward to it. One of the highlights of the flat calendar, and a cracking 8-race card to go at.
Now let's get this out of the way. It was pretty tough for punters yesterday. I don't think there was one winning fav, wasn't there? Which obviously means a lot when you're looking at it. You've had a decent day. Are you staring at one here? I mean, look, you've got all sorts. You've got 2 dashes to have a go at. You've got some impossible looking handicaps, and we've got a derby with a fav that you want to have a go at.
Yeah, I suspect the day will all revolve around City of Troy and the boost. We're going to try and get him beat out of the frame. So we're going to go 6-4 from 8 to 11 to finish first, second, or third. So we think we can get him completely beat and totally out of the frame.
Ooh, yeah, okay, all right, there it is. Look, this is the Saturday boost. If you're new to the Morning Post, William Hill give you a price boost. It's usually a big player, and the odds are boost. That's now live on the app or on the website. Just go along, you'll be able to find that. Was 8 to 11, now out to 6 to 4. We've got some specials as well, Johnny, haven't we? We won't do them now, but you've been looking at some interesting bets for people to have on the race itself.
Yeah, just something a little bit different. We do this sort of stuff for the Grand National, so why not? We can do it for the Derby. What time will the race set off? How long will it take to run the race? Who will finish last? So, if you head to the specials part of the site, there's some interesting markets there that cause a few talking points within the office.
Love it. All right, well, we're going to save that for the race preview itself. We're going to be doing a runner guide, but I'm going to ask the panel. So have a look at that, guys. You've got time now to get out to the site, go to the app, or whatever you're doing. Get those specials up. Right, let's have a look at what you can get in your racing post this morning. If you're picking it up or if you're going digital, let's have a look at that front page and whiz through the paper. Look at that. Love it. That's moody, isn't it? Quite right. Can we trust in Troy? Whoever done the front page, give yourself a pat on the back this Saturday. Lee Mottershead, page 2, senior writer at the Post, says nobody knows what City of Troy will do, and that's what makes this race so intriguing. Absolutely, imperative reading there. Who have we got here? Is this Melrose? Oh, yes, it is. It's the betting editor. It is easy to take comfort in the familiar, but this year's winner could come from an unusual source. Read that, but I can tell you that Roger Till's got a bit to do with it. Troy bids to consign flopping guineas to the passage Richard Birch. Absolutely marvellous. Birchy telling us, doubtless, another strong opinion in the post for you there. What else we've got coming up? Smart View, 1, 2, 3. What's the top one? Yep, City of Troy on top still. Keith Melrose and team, their little baby there. The Smart View is there. City of Troy, Los Angeles. And, of course, the premium content we give you here, easy money. Tom tipped yesterday's winner, Azalea, at 16-1. Anti-Pose. Royal Scotsman, Darren Marlow, I think Scott a squeaker, definitely having a say in the finish in the Derby. And he's already backed Ancient Wisdom Anti-Post. All right, 8-1, which is beating the price. Right, let's get our guest on the line, shall we? It's William Hill ambassador Nick Larkey. Occasionally dials into the show, and look at him in his absolute splendid bubble. I remember one famous figure used to call you Lord Snooty. It's manifested.
It is, and I'm here on the hill as a man of the people. Everybody walking past me to the fun fair with their coolers. There's nothing like Derby Day. I love it. It's all walks of life here on the Downs. There isn't a more charismatic day's racing anywhere. Absolutely love it. I was enjoying listening to Johnny Dineen calling it the English Derby, and I was imagining Tony Coleman at home in a fit of the vapours, hearing it being called the English Derby. It is, of course, Derby Day. Johnny Simpson there in his sauna, giving you the prices. And here am I, hoping for a lovely balmy day on the Downs, and there's still quite a chilly breeze. It's not warm yet. Hasn't warmed up, but as Keels was saying, it dries out so quickly in this place, and they open up the fresh ground. If you get a ground safe grip here, it's going to feel like nothing much softer than good ground, I'd say.
Yeah, okay, Nick. Lots was said about the ground. Yes, it was tough for punters, as I mentioned. There's a running lovely narrative, Nick. We had you camping, didn't we, basically, the horse trials last time. We managed to get you out of there. You've got Johnny in the sauna, as you're quite rightly saying. Here you are on the Downs. Right, well, you're dressed for the occasion. Tell us about yesterday. It was proper windy, wasn't it? Moody weather, as Gills has said. Punters found it quite tough as well. But what did you make of Dermot Well's second Oak winner?
Probably a little bit better than people thought. The time's come through very strong for Azalea. She's not very big. She's quite compact and short couple filly, but she was super handy to run round here. I was really interested after the race when Dermot was being asked about where she might run next. He sort of teed up the Irish Oaks and reminded everybody just how many classics he's won in Britain and Ireland. And you thought, well, she'd be a very short price for that, but he clearly has his mind on something in the autumn, and I'd suggest it's probably the Arc. If you're a 3-year-old filly who's won an Oaks in a good time, the Arc's just the obvious target, isn't it? Because you just get all those allowances. The ownership obviously would point her that way. It'll either be that or the Breeders' Cup Turf, you would have thought. He likes nothing more than doing something like that. So I think she might be a little bit better than people think she is. And I suspect that Oaks form might work out okay. It certainly isn't held down by the third. The third, David Menuisier's horse, has got some really good form with a horse who's one of the favourites for the French Derby tomorrow. So I wouldn't be in a rush to say the Oaks was a terrible race. Coronation Cup, not sure about that. I mean, that was Ryan Moore out there walking the dog, really, wasn't it? And it was sort of had a ring of inevitability about it. But I thought the Oaks winner was decent.
Yeah, well, that's good, and we need the stars to come. Right, let's look no further, Nick. You've heard the boost. William Hill all out to get City of Troy. Johnny Dineen doubling down on it as well. Doubtless G-Rod and Keels might be doing the same. I don't know what to do with him, Nick. I really don't. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, you can see where Johnny Simpson's coming from, because it's pretty hard to see this horse finishing second or third, isn't it? That's the truth of the matter. You kind of know that it's going to be all or bust with this horse. I ended up a bit like a mug, just siding in with him, because I got so enthused by what he did last year, particularly after the Superlative Stakes. Sometimes you just feel your blood pressure going up, and you feel a natural affinity towards the horse, or enthusiasm towards what once every years. That's how I felt after the Superlative. That's how I felt when I saw him break his maiden at the Curragh. And I'm thinking to myself now, after one blowout, and I know we've had all the surround sound over the last few weeks, and sometimes it's really hard to shut it out. I'm trying to ignore all the Aiden stuff about the height and the this and the that, and treating him like a god and why he didn't run very well in the Guineas. It's just in my own mind thinking, am I prepared to believe that the horse I thought so highly of is a busted flush? And am I basically prepared to bet 2-7 that the horse has gone and has got nothing left to offer? And I'm not quite sure I'm ready to take that leap in my imagination. So do I trust him? Not really, but I think I'd rather be with him than against him.
I wonder if that's a refreshing take, Nick. I wonder if that is... a lot of the time you do shows with pundits, you know it yourself, and we're all trying to look at the mechanics and we're all trying to be clever about it, but I wonder if the public... I mean, there must be a reason why he's still favoured. It's not just Ryan Moore, is it?
No, and the thing is, you've got to look at the likeliest ones outside him. And though it is unromantic, the likeliest ones outside him are a very well-bred horse with Godolphin, who's a Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old, and a couple of Ballydoyle second and third strings who've got the pedigree to do well in this race. They're probably the likeliest ones outside him. Yet you walk around here, and I've heard that many people trying to make cases for 33, 40, 50, 66, even 100-1 shots, saying, I really fancy X to win the Derby, X being a horse who either has won a maiden. Well, that's fair enough, because they can improve massively. But horses who maybe have run half a dozen times, who can barely scrape into a 3-figure rating. How can you really fancy a horse like that to win a Derby?
Yeah.
However imaginative you want to be. The thing is, one of the beauties of a race like this, and again, it's the beauty of the Kentucky Derby when I go over there and work there, is that people are willing to have a wild swing. But because the race has got such prestige and standing, they will play that wild swing with great gusto and talk about horses in a way that they would never talk about them if you were looking at a 50s poke in a 0-65 at Redcar.
Yeah, history will tell you to have a pop at a big price. Can you give us a 1, 2, 3? Is that pushing it a bit too far?
No, I can try. I mean, I've got City of Try on top for all the reasons I said. I think Ancient Wisdom's just bound to run well. He's going to stay. He likes a bit of giving the ground. I think he might be a touch on the slow side in terms of tactical speed, but I'm sure he'll run well. Of the wild ones, I don't hate Voyage's chance.
Ooh.
I thought, I know it's a big ask. We've seen Lamtara and Charmed do it just off the back of a maiden. It was a long time ago. I watched that Newbury maiden again last night because 1 or 2 people were putting him in my direction. And I sort of started to think, he's a horse who just seems to do everything very easily. He's just got a very easy rhythmic stride. He's bred to get every yard of the distance. He's by a Derby winner who's been rather sadly unheralded at stud, I think unfairly. Now people are starting to cop onto the fact Golden Horn's quite a good stallion. He's out of a Galileo mare. I think he could run well. He's just not very well drawn in 16. If the pace is really honest and he can get settled, again, I don't think it's wild to think that God's Window might run quite well. They could have gone to France with him. They've decided to come here. He's trained by a top outfit. He's a bit headstrong. I would like a bit more rain, but if he could just drop his head settle, I could see him getting a little bit of minor money. So, yeah, City of Troy, Ancient Wisdom, God's Window, Voyage.
You're allowed it. We'll give it to you. Absolutely. You can play them in the multiples. And there is the market on the screen. Right, Nick, before we let you go, anything else on the card? Have you been putting things up on the site for Hills?
I liked the Robert Cowell supposed second string in the dash, Democracy Dilemma. And I like a horse in the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. I like Briege today. She's not won since her debut. I think this track might suit her ideally. She's quite, keen's the wrong word, but she's quite onward bound. And I think she has one quite high cruising speed. And I think this is a track that might play to her strengths. I quite like horses here sometimes that don't find masses off the bridle elsewhere, but just are quite high cruisers and kind of race quite hard on the bridle. I think a fast mile here down this hill is exactly what she wants, and she's kind of cycling towards a good run. I thought that she was a bit unlucky not to win a Goodwood the other day. I'd be surprised if she doesn't reverse the form with the filly that finished in front of her. The yard is just starting to trickle into a little bit of form with 2 or 3 winners this week. So it could be quite a good day for John Quinn. He's got due for luck in the 3-year-old dash, who is a bit of a hostage to fortune, as his name suggests. And old Mr. Wagyu in the last race he's won before. But I thought Prix was the most interesting of his potentially at the prices.
Yeah, I'm hoping one of them wins, all to be revealed a little bit later on. Nick, great to join us. Go well today. We'll all be watching later on.
It looks like I've got a fan club.
Brilliant. We can only hope it's the people setting up the big wheel. All right. Magnificent.
I'll be on
Nick,
that in a minute.
go well.
Top man. Cheers, Dave.
Good stuff. Nick Lutt then. Absolutely brilliant to have William and Ambassador on with us. Shall we have a look at the Derby then? Ladies and gents, is this what we're going to do now? I think we might be on time, wouldn't we? The market is there. City of Troy, Johnny, 3-1. And you're standing out with that. I can't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, we've got a really, really competitive set of prices for the Derby, and we're paying 4 places, so really, really good value for customers. I'll just give you a bit of a background on the City of Troy. So we opened up at 14 on the 1st of July last year. That has been sort of one-way traffic. The damage in that book was done, last season. It went back out to 6-1 after he got well stuffed in the 2,000 guineas. But now at 3-1, we're happy to stand him. Little bits and pieces for Ancient Wisdom. And then the one at a price is Macduff. There's been each way money there with the 4 places. But from a trading point of view, the 2 we're going to keep on side are Macduff and Dancing Gemini.
Ooh, okay. From Roger Teal, who ties in with Keith Melrose's preview of the race as well. All right, Johnny's spoken from his sauna. I like that. It's given me a few thoughts there. You'll have to come in a towel, John, next time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, just try to shift a few pounds.
Start putting some water on the coals. Nick's onto something there. All right, who wants to start off? Right, I think we need to talk about City of Troy and his price. And it has been, Kills, hasn't it? Whatever happens today, one hell of a ride if you've been on anti-post.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, the point being, I don't think anybody actually knows what his price should be, because he blew out so badly. Now I know people said, some people said he's bred for a mile and a half. The stride pattern guys say he's the absolute perfect fit, and he ran his race upside down in the Guineas by going too fast early. But he actually went fast there, and comfortably fast, if you know what I mean. He was quite keen. But he just backed out of it so early. I mean, I don't care how fast he went for 4 furlongs. A horse that's top class should be able to run at least a little bit longer than that, because he was beat at halfway. Like I said, he was quite keen. Now the pace in the first half mile of the Derby will be, I think last year it was 8.5 seconds slower than City of Troy went for the first 4 furlongs in the Guineas. If he's keen then, running uphill, that's an issue too. He's got stall 1.
Yeah.
The trainer still believes in him. He's the only horse in the race with anything like the form in the book to win a Derby.
I thought you were about to say he's the only one that fancies the horse.
No. He is
not far from the truth.
He is the only horse in the race with the form anywhere near good enough to win the Derby. What do you do about that run? I mean, we saw it before with August Rodin, but at least with August Rodin, we managed to work out that he just threw the towel in that day, because he's done it twice since. And we don't know why City of Troy ran like that.
We sat together on the Guineas Sunday after he'd run, and we were a bit. Everyone was a bit crestfallen, whether you were with him financially or not. We were hoping to see the next poster boy of the game. It was awful, Johnny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really poor effort for a horse that was so short in such a big race. I mean, you were gone, as Paul said, you were gone at halfway, and that's like a mystifying performance in relation to anything he had done previously. What he's going to do here is anyone's guess, isn't it? Like it is very hard to pin down exactly what he can do here. Would he even get the trip properly? Who knows? You know what I mean? I can see why Hills would want to lay him first three, because as Nick Luck said just there, he is a horse that's difficult to see being second or third. He looks like an all duck or no dinner kind of an animal, doesn't he? Really, you know what I mean? That's what he reads like to me anyway. And you can see him when they did it last year with Augusta Road. But what has been a trend in the last few years is that these big trainers, not just Aidan O'Brien, the likes of Henderson can bring Shishkin back from the dead. Mullins can bring the likes of Gaelic Warrior back from the dead. They did with Faheen. So and O'Brien did it last year with Augusta Road. And so they can do it. They can do it. So it's very hard to say he's no chance to be dogmatic to say he can't win. Like realistically, and I think he won't win. I think he probably won't even be placed. But I won't fall down if he wins either at the same. He is the best horse in the race on all known form from last season.
Yeah.
But he has a lot of questions to answer now.
Just as we were walking into the studio, I'd lift a little on that. Kills, you said none of us would be surprised if he wins. And Nick has obviously gone for what I think might be a popular opinion away from racing media and that sort of stuff.
Well, it's going to be a popular opinion. He's 3-1 favourite. It's 6-1 bar. Yeah. Like, you know, it's as simple as that. There are loads of people who are prepared to forgive him. Otherwise, he's going to take a massive walk in the market, isn't he? But it doesn't look like he is. It looks like he's going to be pretty strong. So yeah, it's not going to shock you. But I mean, you know, I'm all for forgiving a horse a bad run, but I like to forgive a horse for a bad run when the bookmakers haven't, if you know what I mean. When, you know, and the market sort of has now, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't back him.
I'm a bit surprised he's turning up here. And I know that I thought after the Guineas we might be looking at Air Force Blue. It was that bad. And you're obviously not including him in your top three.
No, I'm not. But I'm, you know, it's you know, I won't be laying him for a place. Put it that way.
There we are.
I wouldn't back against him for.
Yeah, because a lot of layers do watch this show to try and, you know,
I can let him run. I think that's the important thing.
Let him run, John.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't dream of backing him anyway. Definitely not. No.
All right.
And I do think that if you do want to oppose him, I'd say that the place market's probably the best avenue, because he does really, if ever a horse looked like a winner be nowhere contender, this is it.
Well, you're getting 6-4 on the boost for the top three. All right, you've been sitting very patiently waiting for me to come to you on this, haven't you? You've heard what we think. I don't know what to do with him, so he's not in my top three. Nick Luck and a lot of the public are backing him. It's Ryan Moore. They'll just look at the colours. They'll look at draw one, which is something of a red herring because it is historically a bad draw, if you're not sure about that, over the mile 4 at Epsom. What's Graeme Rodway doing with this? Well,
it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I don't think he'd be favourite if we'd had a really good trial winner. And we did have 1 or 2 really good trial winners. Economics, wasn't it? What it's called, the Dante winner, but he doesn't run. So away from City of Troy, take him out the race, I think we'd be saying it's a pretty average derby, wouldn't we? And there is a potential star in there in City of Troy. And when I was at Newmarket for the Guineas, it was absolutely banged out there with people thinking they were going to see the next Frankel. Ryan Moore went out there and rode him like he was next Frankel. And the gasps that went up from the crowd when he started to just fall back through the field, I think they just all expected he was going to turn up and win. They couldn't believe it when he ran so poorly. So, I mean, he's the X factor in the race. He could absolutely blow the race apart, couldn't he? But I mean, for people like Keels and I'm Johnny, you know, serious punters and tipsters, you can't be backing a horse who just ran so poorly last time out when he's favourite for a race like this. It's different if we were taking 12 or 14 to 1, isn't it? But we ain't. We're being asked to take 3 to 1. So
top three?
I can't have him in my top 3.
None of us are in the top 3. What are you thinking out there? This is time to polarise opinion. If you're not even having a bet on the race, surely this is one of the moments of the last 10 years in horse racing just to tune in and see what happens to a horse, right? 4:30, City of Troy, none of us have got him in the top 3. It's time for us to go down the field then. I was just getting my app up here and I'm going to try and do it by numbers. So what's number 1? That's, to me, I've got to go right down here. Hang on, what is number 1?
Friendly?
Hang on, it should be Ambiente Friendly, shouldn't it? Of course, I thought it might be Ancient Wisdom. Ambiente Friendly, we've got to come to you on this. Let's do about 10, 20 seconds on each horse, Kills, if you don't mind.
No, I liked him. I love the way he spun around Lingfield. It was very fast ground that day and he floated over it. So it's been worrying me in the last few days that it was going to be too soft for him. I don't think it will be now. I'm still baffled by the decision to replace a jockey with a good record at Epsom with a jockey that's 50 years old, has been an understudy all his life, won his first Grade 1 at last year, and has had 1 ride at Epsom in the last 5 years. So it does completely baffle me. Maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but...
Well, I spoke to James Fanshawe on Thursday, and I was asked to ask him the question, and he shut me down very quickly. He didn't like it either. I think that is the general... You know, that's how I felt. Sometimes you ask someone a question.
Yeah, but it's not the trainers.
No, exactly. I said, how much did the trainer have to do in this decision?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. And he sort of said it a bit sternly.
Right, yeah.
Right, so I got scolded a little bit back and I came back and went, well, he's just won a Group 1. You know, so anyway, so look, Rab is on. Whatever you think of that, you've got him on top.
No, I've swapped.
Oh, Kills.
I've swapped. Yeah, we'll wait to see. I've got him second.
All right, okay. Ground coming in his favour, though. Ambiente Friendly?
I'd be worried about the ground for it. I just think he's a top of the ground horse. And what I see yesterday, it wasn't top of the ground. I know it's not raining there today, but it's still not overly dry. It's cool enough.
There's been a bit of water on there, isn't there?
Yeah, look, I'd just be worried. And do you know what? I can't remember. No, it has happened, of course. When they take off these jockeys and put other fellas, they never win, do they really?
Yeah,
I don't know why that is, but they don't win anyway. It's probably the gods' good consign.
The racing gods are a thing, aren't they? Absolutely, it does seem to be the case.
Look, I think you'd respect his chance, but I don't really fancy him, no.
Yeah, Ambiente friendly. I've got him on top actually. I'm going to put him on top. Yeah, I think he'll win.
I was at Lingfield that day, and there were 3 1 mile 4 races in a row. Americ won the Oaks Trial and then the Derby Trial. I remember straight after the race saying the Derby Trial was the worst of those 3 races, just straight from my thinking, the other 2 looked better races. And then I went back and I saw the time and I watched them back side by side. And Ambiente Friendly thrashed the other 2 races by a mile. His time was absolutely exceptional. But there's just something rankling in the back of our mind that says, can horse buy Glen Eagles with that pedigree? Quite a cheap purchase. James Fanshawe, Rab Havlin. There's something about I can't see it.
He's not the stallion.
No, it's you get a gut feeling about something, and I just can't see that sort of horse winning a derby. But he was wildly impressive. I was also something in my mind saying maybe he was a little bit flattered that day at Lingfield.
All right.
He came up that stand side rail. Sometimes that can be favoured, can't it, at Lingfield?
All right, okay. We've done about 5 minutes on it. Which means we all fancy him quite a bit.
20 seconds a horse.
Yeah, absolutely. You set the tempo there. All right, let's get a bit quick. I've got a feeling this is going to be 10 minutes as well. Ancient Wisdom, Johnny.
Yeah, I like Ancient Wisdom. I do think that he has an excellent chance here. He's a good 2-year-old. He's Group 1 form, and I see he even has a line of form where he won, where he was 2-1, and the reason I don't consider Ambient Friendly. Ambient Friendly is well held on that form as a 2-year-old. He was 16-1. You remember, was 2-1 favourite.
Yeah.
That's a big gap in prices. And Ancient Wisdom, the word of him in York was that he needed to run badly. He ran accordingly. I agree with Graeme. Economics would be favoured in this race if he did turn up having a blemish-free running from York, if he was guaranteed to get the trip. And Ancient Wisdom guaranteed to improve at the distance, guaranteed to come on for the run. Their horse ran well yesterday in the Oaks. I think he's a very, very solid horse in this race. I'd be gobsmacked if he's not in the first 3 anyway. I'm going to back him anyway.
Strong opinion from Johnny Dineen. Ancient Wisdom, Paul Kealy.
It's just a horse that got thrashed last time out, isn't it? That worries me a little bit. And I spoke to Tom Siegel last night, and he said he had a chat to Kieran Fallon, who rides him out, and he said this horse is nowhere near as good as Arabian Crown. Who obviously won the Sandown trial and is missing through injury. So I don't know. I just wonder whether he's going to be fast enough this year. Simple.
He holds quite a few horses on his Vertem, doesn't he? Do you like him?
That was the word that came to my mind when I saw him. A bit slow. He stays well. I just wonder if it was really soft or heavy ground. I think he'd have a huge chance. But I wonder on these quicker conditions if he might be found wanting for pace.
I was a bit more pro, having looked back at the Dante, than a lot of people were at the time, because I think he, like every single horse seems to be needed this year, he needed that run. All right, let's move on. Bellum Justin, winning you're in, of course, in the Blue Riband. Oshie Murphy rides, so people will be having a 5 on for that.
Yeah, I fancy him.
Do you?
I've got him on top.
Have
Bellum
you?
Justin, yeah. I thought he's got that course experience. He went round Epsom nicely, he travelled beautifully, he won well. Obviously, Defiance disappointed next time, but it can't have been his true running at Lingfield. There's something funny about that Lingfield race. The third Chief Little Rock came out and hacked up, didn't he, at the Curragh. Form's okay. Andrew Balding has had 4 horses in the frame in the last 5 years. And they're all at big prices, 150 to 1 Who You Mal, 50 to 1 Khalifa Sat. So I think Balding's going to have this one right, and he was dead set after that race at Epsom. He was going to a trial, he was going to that, and then suddenly he said, "Oh no, we're going to go straight to the Derby," almost as like, we're going to really map him out for that. He's one of the youngest horses in this field. He's a May foal, so he's a slow burner, and I can see him really coming on. I think he'd run really well.
Interesting to see the stars. I felt sure that was going to be a 5-second horse, didn't you?
No, I can see him. I could definitely see him running well. Yeah.
Okay, in the top 3.
Not quite, but he's up there. It's one of the ones I fancy to run well.
John, have you put a line through this chat?
No, not completely. No, I wouldn't say I don't overly think he'll be placed, but he's some sort of a chance. He has course form, so I wouldn't. I think he has a better chance than some of the ones around him in the betting and even below him in the betting, to be honest. All
right, okay. Number 4 is City of Troy. We've pretty much done that. What are you? Let's hear from you out there. Let's give you your Derby 1, 2, 3s, whatever you want to try and build up. We'll have them. We are going to go through the rest of the races, by the way, guys. That brings us to Dallas Star. Adrian Murray's been making a name for himself with the Ammo Racing horses. Johnny, come to you on this. None. This is what I'm talking about.
It'd have been in my top 3 if it was soft ground.
Is that right?
But I think he absolutely needs it. I think he stays forever. I think that was apparent at Leopardstown. because it looked like they were going to run past him, and he's gone away again. But I think he definitely needs it soft, and as it ain't going to be soft, I can't have him anymore.
Dallas Star.
Yeah, not
You've been
for
to
me.
Dallas?
I have a few
I'm not
times.
seem to remember this. You haven't?
Yeah, I've got a few friends in Dallas, yeah. But I don't see Dallas Star being competitive here, Dave.
But this is interesting, isn't it? Because this goes back to what Nick Luck was just saying to us. He's been hearing from... I've been hearing it this week as well. I really fancy a 40-1 shot. I really fancy a 50-33 Everyone seems to have an opinion on some of the outsiders in this race. Dancing Gemini comes up next. Johnny, the judge, let's come to you. You've seen good money for this then, have you?
Yeah, little bits and pieces throughout the week. I think this is the horse who could take a massive step forward for the trip. He was out of Camelot, out of an Australian mare. I just thought, 14, 16 to 1. I think this is the horse that could, massively improve.
All right, Dancing Gemini. Anyone got any love for this Roger Till coming out of stall 15?
Like Johnny said, Derby winners both sides of pedigree, but I don't think he'll stay. He didn't get home in the Futurity last year, and he was a very weak finisher then. I know he's strong enough to get a mile now, but just something about him I don't think will stay, even though his pedigree says he's pretty much nailed onto.
Ran a big race in France.
He did run a big race in France. He's a good horse.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he's not going to get home.
Johnny?
Give it no chance, Dancing Gemini. I do, like, his race in France, like, that was a melee. He could have been anywhere. It could have won, it could have been 7. There was a half length next heads. I just think that form is... I think he's a very weak 10-1 chance now, to be honest. I couldn't see him being around anyway.
Yeah, I think the price is interesting, isn't it? It means he has been well backed. G?
No, I agree with the boys. I mean, he ran some really fast sectionals when he won at Newbury last year, and he looks like a fast horse to me, not sort of horse who's going to win a Derby.
Yeah, I liked him last year, but I struggled to see him getting home as well. OK, Dear a Mile. This is a chap that I spoke to Aaron Burrows as well in the week. He's quietly confident about this, and Tom Siegel has put him up.
Yes, yeah. Talented hound is where I'd put him up. That head up in the air all over the place. I don't know what he's going to do coming down the hill. That would worry me. I mean, he's definitely got talent.
They've put the pieces on.
Whether he wants to show it all is another matter altogether.
Do you remember when cheap pieces were just not a thing at Group 1 level, and then Rule of the World came out and won a Derby?
I always look to see what records trainers have when they put first-time headgear on. And cheap pieces are the things I look for more than anything else now, because it's just the in thing.
Can you tell us about Owen Burrows' record with them?
Yeah, I think it was 1 from 19.
That's not great.
So yeah,
not great. I asked him about them, and he said, "Yeah, I think he said the words just to sort of help him." This guy is in my top 3, John.
Oh, he's not in mine either. No, I couldn't have him. No, Windsor. I don't know. I couldn't see it, to be honest. No.
No, I can't have him. Yeah, apparently he ran really fast sectionals last time at Windsor, according to Tom, but I can't see it.
We'll have a match bet, shall we, over your Bellham Justice and mine?
I'll have it with the owner, mate.
Oh, you like? All right, we'll get to him. He's number 14. We've got a few to get down the list yet. Number 8 is Euphoric. A lot of people have been back in this. Johnny, did you see money for this? In the week, he was like halved in price, some silly prices. He is, of course, Declan McDonough, supposed 3rd string for Ballydoyle. Yeah, I mean, when it came apparent that certain horses were going to the French Derby, a little bit, we did lay a little bit of 33 and 40. I think it wouldn't be it won't be the first O'Brien 2nd or 3rd string to outrun his odds. I think he's got a chance of hitting the frame. This. He's matched with Los Angeles Kills, isn't he? And maybe one for the 4 places. Perhaps we should be doing 4 with William Hill, of course.
Yeah, I mean, quite often they ignore the pacemakers, don't they? And Aidan O'Brien runs some very, very, very good pacemakers. And if that is indeed his job today, I mean, he's done it before, so.
You would think it is, and when you were talking about City of Troy in your preview about him, I was thinking about Euphoric, about if he gets lit up and stuff. Surely that's what he's there to do, John.
But I wonder, is he a real pacemaker? I wouldn't fancy him at all, no. But they'll hardly want to turn it into a real stamina test for the favourite. I'd imagine just surely must have harbouring some sort of stamina issues for City of Troy. So I don't see him going off like 100 mile an hour making the running. I just don't think he's anywhere near good enough anyway, no matter what he does, to be honest. I'm surprised he's such a big price, because they've had horses run well in these races before, and they only have 3 to say that he's 33. I thought he would be less, but I wouldn't back him at any price. Yeah, of course. You think about some of the 2nd, 3rd strings. Of course, Wings of Eagles was the big one. Anthony Van Dyke as well. G.
I'll be shocked if he wins.
Simple as that. We can move on. What about number 9, God's Window? Start with you, G.
I don't think he's out of this.
I can't have him at all.
Can't have him at all?
No.
He ran all right, didn't he, last year?
Nick obviously likes him as well, so.
He ran all right last year in the Furton Futurity. Was he 3rd or 4th?
He won a 9-1 on shot at Nottingham, and he's looked terrible in 2 starts.
He has looked terrible, but the ground's not really been right for him, I think, on those 2 starts. He wants a bit of cut, doesn't he? Now, maybe it will quicken up and he won't get it. But if it is on the soft side, I don't think he's totally out of it.
There'd be some irony in this, Johnny Dineen, if Kieran Schumacher was to have his big day for John Gosden on an 80-1 shot.
Yeah, I actually think he has the slightest of chances of placing, of doing something reasonable. I do think he's a better chance than horses that are half his price. That's all.
That's interesting. Kills?
Yeah, he's probably a better chance than some of those ahead of him in betting, but he's still got no chance.
What about Cambu? This is a nice, ambitious bit of placing. Richard Hughes' trainers said, I'd love to have got a run into him, but they're aiming big.
Yeah, never run on turf, that's it. And he's got absolutely ridiculous amounts of fine. So a complete guess if you fancy him. You don't know how good he is because he's hardly run much, has he? And you don't know how good he is on turf.
Yeah.
But I couldn't have him.
Drawn in 3 under Mr. Desert Crown, Richard Kingscote.
I mean, you wouldn't back him at $1 million, would you?
Okay, that's a nice little.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I mean, it could be anything, couldn't he? Yeah. But I mean, on form, there's a few of them in there. And you think, what on earth are you doing here,
John?
You couldn't fancy him, no, I agree.
You probably can't even remember the name, John, can you? But we can remember Los Angeles, of course. Now, this looks weak to me, Johnny Simpson. It was pressuring, of course, 48 hours ago when the draw came out. A lot of people were saying, me included at some point, this might well be the favourite. He's unbeaten. He took the Derrensdown. What do we like about him?
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of money from during the week when we were expecting the ground to be a little bit softer, but a little bit like the Oaks. That the market now is settling and the money is continuing to come in for City of Troy. We've actually just got 11-4 from 3 during the show. We're really laying that at the 3, so we've gone 11-4. But Los Angeles now 13-2, and that is top. There's not really a great deal of interest for him.
All right, okay. Anyone got him in the top 3?
This is the horse I absolutely dread winning. Aidan O'Brien has had some really good Derby winners, like Galileo, Camelot, etc. And he's had some really dull, boring, slow old boats who just won rubbish derbies. And if Los Angeles wins, that'll be it.
You think Los Angeles is a boat?
Just dull. It'll be the most boring result you could have for the Derby if Los Angeles wins.
I don't necessarily subscribe to that.
But he might.
But he's unbeaten, isn't he? He's won the right trial.
Yes, I know. I just think he's a dull, workmanlike. You know what I mean? There's nothing flashy about him. He gets the job done, and you think, oh God, another one of them. That's how I look at it. But he might still win.
He's a Camelot.
He's in my top 3. So,
is he?
Yeah.
You dread it, but
he's coming third. But I do dread it because I think he's a very, very plausible winner.
I see what you're saying.
I just think story-wise, it'll just be boring as hell.
A lot of people on the name will be backing him alone. Los Angeles. John, what are we doing with him?
Yeah, I don't fancy him myself. I just think that he won a maiden in Tipperary back end of the year. He beat a horse Idens in the Stream in France, who's running over in Châtin or someplace like that in handicaps, and he's run against Euphoric where they finished 5 of them up in the heap. There was about 2 lengths, but the 4th horse belonged to Gerald Lyons. It was rated 89. Looked like it could go by him at any stage up that straight. I think he's going to struggle here. I do agree with Paul. I just think he's slow, and I struggle. Like fellas were saying, Ancient Wisdom is slow. I don't think he'd be as slow as Los Angeles at the same time.
We're already thinking about the St Ledger now, aren't we, with horses like this? Gee.
Yeah, kills it now and there, doesn't he? He's one of those Ballydoyle clones, I call them. Like Changing of the Guard and Serpentine and all those sort of slow staying horses.
One of them won the race.
I know, but it's just boring to see these.
Gelded, though, didn't it? Serpentine. That's how bad a derby he was.
They're all the same, aren't they? They're all sort of slow, galloping, tough, genuine horses. You can't fault them, but nothing flashy about them. Ballydoyle clones, that's what he is.
A Ballydoyle clone, no chance, yeah?
No.
Wow, because this will be polarising opinion with a lot of people out there, I would imagine. Let's move on to Macduff, who's now into 10-1. Of course, this would be Arabian Crown. John, you're nodding away.
Yeah, Macduff is his horse I'd respect. He's like priced to the bone now at the same time. Like he's single figures. He looks short enough, doesn't he? I was giving him a chance, yeah, some description definitely. Like Arabian Crown is definitely a good horse, and like Macduff didn't want. His form at 2-year-old is only okay though. That's all. He has a chance, but he's priced on the button now. He's no value, but I couldn't say he couldn't be involved at the same time.
Yeah, he was my top 1. I mean, he's now like Johnny said. I mean, he was a lot bigger price than that earlier in the week. There's been a bit of money for him. I liked him. I have tipped him. His form wasn't brilliant last year, but I mean, he was bred to be a 3-year-old. And when he returned at Sandown, he's finished second to. I think Arabian Crown was definitely Godolphin's #1 Derby horse.
For sure.
I definitely think he was. And yes, he's been beaten 3 lengths, but at the time, Rafe Beckett was telling everybody that my horses are miles behind. So I thought he's run a cracker then, and he's backed up by the stats. Beckett had 1 winner in March, 1 winner in April. Suddenly he's banged in 15 in May. He's in a lot better form. This horse will come on a ton. Whether he turns out good enough or not, I think he's going to leave previous form behind, and his actual best form takes City of Troy out of the way. It's not a mile behind horses that still haven't shown anywhere near enough to win a Derby.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Westover, Mark 2.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah, I've got him in third.
You loved Westover as well, didn't you?
I like Westover. I like Desert Crown like that year. I thought they were good horses. But Beckett had a really good 2-year-old year last year. It was his best juvenile year that he's ever had.
Yeah.
So he had a big pool to choose from. He's gone for Macduff. I mean, like Kill said, the horses were a little bit behind when he was second at Sandown. That's a race that Westover won, of course, before coming on to win here. He looks like he's going to take a huge step forward. I think he'll run well.
All right, that is Macduff. Let's go to Mr. Hampstead, who somehow has turned up with Dominic French-Davis. I thought this would be running in a handicap at Royal Ascot. I think I'm probably still right about that. 150 to 1, John, no chance?
It's impossible to fancy. Yeah, it is, really is.
Nice horse, I think, in the making, but not for today.
You get beat 12 lengths and get put up to 100, though, couldn't it? Like, and ruin its chance. I mean, it's not, okay. Owner wants to splash some money out and
beating in a maiden
race, but I mean, he's basically just got no chances.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's no hoper.
A no hoper. All right, we're getting through them now. Sadati. I want to come to you because this, I feel, is in your top 3.
Yeah, I've got him second behind Bellum Justin, the other Balding horse. Andrew Balding, as I've already said, has hit the frame with 2 horses for this owner in the last 5 years. Hugh Yamal, 150s. Khalifa sat at 50s. This one last time was beaten in the Newmarket Stakes, but that race was running a really good time, and he was responsible for setting that pace. I mean, he went off a good pace and was well held by Caviar Rights in second. Caviar Rights obviously freshed in the Dante, but can't possibly have been his true running. So I can see him being nice and prominent and running well. I can definitely see him being in the places.
Didn't Hugh Yamal ran in that race as well, didn't it?
Did he?
Yeah, straight to the Derby, I think
and they got sold at Ascot, didn't he? And went to Gay Waterhouse and nothing really happened with him.
Yeah.
John?
Look, I suppose he's 33 with some semblance of a chance. I don't overly fancy him, but look, there will be probably a ragged place in this race at the very minimum. Something will be placed anyway that you wouldn't expect.
40 to 1 with Hills then on that one. Let's move on. Number 15, 2 more horses to talk about. We are doing the rest of the Epsom race as well. We'll whittle through them. Just tips from the guys on those. Table Talk for Tom Clover, supplemented for the race. I really liked his win last time. He looked proper material.
Yeah, got an RPR of 76.
Yeah, and here he is in the Derby.
I mean, we probably get a handicap rating of 80, and he's in the Derby. I mean, I know these rich owners and all that. What was it, 75 bags to run in this race?
I like the fact he's having a go, though. The horse he beat was turned over yesterday at Chepstow, yeah.
I mean, there you go. I mean, it's just...
I think he's going to be a fun runner, though, and I think he might be a nice horse for the future. Right, the last one is Voyage. I don't know why I want to come to you on this, Kills, for some reason. I associate you with these colours.
I don't know why you do either.
This is, there's a step up in class, and then there's this.
Yeah, but I mean, he's one decent maiden, and Richard Hannon's really talking him up. Like, saying we know we've got a good horse. Like, you know what I mean? And at least he's shown, he's put it this way, he's shown an awful lot more than Table Talk and Cambu on the figures. Like, you know what I mean? And he could be anything. I associate Richard Hannon with Milos, of course. He has had the place in the Derby, haven't he? But I mean, end of the day, I just don't know. No, you cannot really fancy it on the form of the maiden. But the noises they're making, they are expecting a big one.
Yeah, John, anything about this?
Look, the fact that it was 28 to 1 first time out in Newbury in the maiden, they couldn't expect him to be. It obviously wasn't pulling up trees. It's shorter price in the Derby in the second one. I think it's a big leap of faith to be even considering. I wouldn't give it a prayer in here.
When was the last time a horse won the Derby after just one?
I went through a spell.
Was Lantara?
I went through a spell of opposing Hannah 2-year-olds that went off unconsidered in their maidens because I had it in my head that they were always well backed, and it did prove quite costly for a while. Yeah. Some of his very good ones have been fairly unconsidered first time. Yeah,
and Hannon, he's quite open, isn't he? And he's not usually far off the mark. I mean, he said for a long time that Rosalian was a really good horse, and he's proven to be right. And of course, he did have Mojo Star run second in this race after he was beaten in a maiden.
This is it. Mojo Star's the one. Yeah.
Mojo Star. He was quite confident about Mojo Star before that race, in a similar vein to how he is with Voyage here. So, I mean, I've not backed him. I've not got him in the 3, but I could see it.
All right, that is the horse by horse guide done. All right. I think we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4s, 1, 2, 3s off everyone. Gills, just remind your top 3.
Macduff, Ambient Friendly, and Los Angeles.
Johnny,
I'll go Ancient Wisdom, Macduff, maybe Bellum Justin.
All right. I have got Ambiente Friendly. What would I have second? I had Ancient Wisdom. I think has to be in the 3, and I have gone for Dear Mile as well in my top 3.
I'm on Bell and Justin, Sadati, and Macduff.
Really well said. That was very difficult. Johnny Simpson, your top 3, please.
We'll be going with Macduff, Dancing Gemini, and then Los Angeles. It reminds me of Jack Hobbs a little bit. I think he'll be third.
All right, just before we move on, and we're going to just draw a breath in a sec as well. Let's have a look at those specials coming up, see if any of the panel really fancy one of these. Let's see if we can get the specials up. Producers, I'm testing them now, but Johnny Simpson on the site has put up some specials for you guys. And here they are, as if by magic. Right, who will be the starting price favourite? What will City of Troy's starting price be? That's interesting. Of course, Hill's sticking out, don't forget, guys, at 3-1. And they've boosted him as well, 1, 2, 3, to finish in that. Any of those positions is now 6-4 from 8 to 11. The off time of the Epsom Derby, official winning time, which will be the last horse to finish. Aidan O'Brien, top train runner, UK top train runner, long shot Derby. All right, what's the long shot Derby, Johnny Simpson?
That is just all the outsiders. At the time of pricing, all the horses who were above 20-1. Just, if you fancy an outsider, you sort of bet him without the front 5 or 6.
Anyone see any of those that they quite like? Who would be the fit horse to finish last? Cambu, Table Talk?
I'd like to say one of those, probably Table Talk, but you always find something goes badly wrong with one of the fancied horses.
There's a tailed off, just eased off.
That's the problem.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. What would the off time be? If it
4, 6 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's a bit of fun anyway. Go to there and have a go at some specials.
I'm just going to get onto Animal Rising. 6 o'clock, please, lads.
Keel's streaking on the course. There's an image. Okay, maybe he's going after all. All right, okay. Let's draw a breath and we'll be looking at the big races coming up after this. Right then, hold on to your hats. We're going to go through the rest of the races today at Epsom. The 125 is the Hong Kong Jockey Club, named after the great man Lester Piggott, Handicap. And there has been a right plunge here. The well-named Portsmouth is out of a dam called Havant. What are you doing with him in the market, Johnny Simpson?
Yeah, it's one-way traffic for the front 2 in the market. Portsmouth in 9-4 from 113. Persica is 3 from 4. The each-way horse is Whiskey Pete, who is 14 into 9, as they were playing 4 places here. So, strong race to kick off Derby Day.
Yeah, Whiskey Pete always seems to attract money for Rafe Beckett, cooking off to a flyer. Nice and succinct.
Yeah, I've backed Whiskey Pete. He pulled up, didn't he, on his return, ran like an absolute moron. He went off in front.
Action.
Oh, he went off in
like
front.
A moron.
Yeah, but he went off in front like a nutcase. But he's related to a couple of nutcases. He's half brother to that good horse Candleford and also Atty Purse. They both had a habit of throwing in a nutty run, and then they had loads of talent on their day. He was good when he won at York last year, beat a subsequent winner called Buster Move. I think if he comes back to that form, he's got a big chance.
Anyone on the Fav?
Yeah, I backed him yesterday at 130, I think it was. I was surprised he wasn't sort of this price. Now, to be honest, he bolted up first time up at Epsom, skipped round there very easily from the front. Tried to make the money, running very keen on heavy ground at Goodwood last time. Got beat a length by a horse called Lavender Hill Mob, who was rated 76, finished 4th for the Cock Hat a couple of weeks later, was now rated 96. So he's gone up, the winner's gone up £20, Portsmouth's gone up 3. I think he's absolutely thrown in. But you saw what happened when I backed Shorties with Ylang in the Oak, so be warned.
You brought that up, not me. Johnny,
you can't hide away from it, Dave.
No, quite right. Strong opinions is what we want. We're about to get one.
Yeah, look, I thought, looking at it, yesterday we were like 5-2 each, 2 Portsmouth and Persica. I don't fancy that at all, Persica.
Neither do I.
I don't fancy that at all. I could see Portsmouth winning for definite, and I think Whiskey Pete has a good chance if he settles properly. My play will be Lane Persica and let the rest of them run for me here.
Yeah, watch back that London Gold Cup won by a proper horse, but I think that comment running is a little bit deceiving. I thought Bubbles Wonky would go well for William Buick, King Power and Tim Easterby. Let's go to the 2 o'clock. It's a Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Johnny Simpson, Running Lion. Is this one you're ducking?
No, we're going to be taking this on at 7-4. Given how bad Emily Upjohn ran yesterday, the vibes for this horse can't be that good. I mean, if you remember last year in the Oaks, she got so worked up and was pulled out at the start. So if she remembers that again, it won't be a positive. Spoiler alert, Sheik Columbine, I think he's a cracking each way bet here, and she has shortened in price from 4 from 8 since the market went out. But running line we'll be looking to take plenty out of that.
Wow, if you go in the paper today, look at the excellent Kevin Morning, ticks every single box. That would probably be Kevin's nap running line. What are you like in this?
Oh, she should win running line, but I couldn't back her. I mean, she's an absolute nut, isn't she? Last time out, she traded at 1.01. She was clear 2 furlongs out, then drifted right away to the left, threw the race away. And Camber goes left at Epsom. She's going to have to end up on that rail. I don't know what's going to happen. I wouldn't back against her because I think she's got loads of talent and far better than this field, but I couldn't back her at Epsom.
A reminder that Nick Luck, William Ambassador, gave a good word for Breege in this. Would you be opening the satchel if you were laying this?
No, not necessarily. I think the race is probably between Running Line and Breege. I fancy Breege strong each way. I do think there's no way it'll be out of the 3 here. I'm not overly mad about Sheik Columbine. Running Line is probably the class horse in the race, but it's tried a mile and a half and 10 furlongs, and now it's back at a mile. It's a kind of a different discipline, and I could see Breeze just coming into the race. It's not a winning machine, or Breeze. It hasn't won since her debut in Wetherby, but I do think she's a very solid each way play, and she's one of my better bets of the day anyway each way. I guarantee she won't be unplaced.
Okay, Breeze then strong. 2 big ticks for that, Kills.
Sometimes you have good anti-post positions and sometimes you have bad ones. I have a bad one because
here we go.
The weather was suggesting it was going to be very wet. It was going to be soft. Epsom missed all the ground. I thought they'd come over to the stand side. Running Line will blend up on the far side on her own. And Sparks Fly loves the ground, would win. And I thought she'd be nearly fab. And she's 3 or 4 points longer than when I backed
drifting, isn't she?
on Monday. And understandable, unfortunately, because she doesn't do any running on good ground. But I thought her run at Haydock last time was really good. I know she was a beaten fab, but it was easily her best run at 7 furlongs. It wouldn't surprise me if she runs well. I'm hoping she squeezes a place. It also wouldn't surprise me if Running Line won very easily, because she's coming back in trip. They were trying her at the Oaks last year, but I know she wandered around last time at Newmarket, but she'd won that a furlong out by a country mile, didn't she? Like, you know what I mean? And now she's half a furlong shorter in trip.
Yeah.
And she's going, and she's running downhill. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's too fast for them and she's in front and she's on the rail.
Sheen's comments to us in the papers today were along the line of she went off way too fast. So that's like a jockey said, he's a bit annoyed with her. So watch out.
Yeah, she's not straightforward, is she?
No. She didn't go into the stalls, and the racing gods that you mentioned, 12 months on, it's sod's law if you oppose her, she'll just go and hack up. But she's had a fan club because she didn't go into the stalls, weirdly, but she's let punters down quite a bit, hasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, and if she's highly strung, I mean, Oaks Day's nothing like Derby Day, is it?
Yeah. All right, so that's a relatively tricky puzzle, but the Fab will polarise opinion. Do you like it out there? Let's hear from you in the community. Let's move on then. It's the Diomed coming up. I absolutely love the Diomed. It looks like an absolute conundrum for punters this year. Who's Fav? Is it still Ambesto with you, Johnny?
Well, we're 4-2 on the field. I mean, this is like a bags race. This is, you can't make a case for all 8 of them. But the money horse here is Royal Scotsman. Obviously, Tom put it up yesterday. But I think Regal Reality, the really solid one here. Given the ownership, and this might be this is his big day.
I completely agree with that. Before we go down the panel, this is a nightmare for punters. Embesto 5th last time out. Highland Avenue 7th and 6th. Regal Reality 4th and 3rd. Royal Scotsman 9th. Epitectus 5th. Sean 6th. Royal Dubai, one of the outsiders. He at least won last time. And Silver Sword, likeable horse, 4th.
Yeah, I thought it was quite funny. Like, I was reading Tom Siegel's price-wise column last night, and it was such a Tomism, Like, he said he finished it off his Derby bit by saying, "I couldn't. It goes against all my punting principles to back a horse like City of Troy after such a disappointing run." And then he tips Royal Scotsman.
Yeah, but City of Troy is fab. And
I was just about to say. He does go on to say to back a horse like City of Troy as favourite. Yeah. So I get where he's coming from. But even so, I mean, Royal Scotsman's been beaten an absolute mile on what, 2 or 3 or 4 of his last few starts.
It is a leap of faith with him, isn't it? But the talent's obviously there.
I mean, they were talking about the talent. They were absolutely convinced Connections that the talent was still there going into the the and he just ran appalling.
He drifted terribly.
He was entitled to need that.
It was a strange... Yeah, but it was worse than needing it, wasn't it? Right. That's the problem. But, I mean, they did think it was okay, and it was a strange race, that Newbury race, anyway.
Yeah.
Regal Reality, I think, despite the fact that he's 9, he's the most solid. I think the one that's potentially overpriced is Epic Tetus. He was a course winner. He's won at Goodwood too. as long as the ground isn't too fast. If you throw out the 3 times he's run at Ascot, he's actually very consistent. So I think it might just mean that he's not an Ascot horse. So at those prices, I would take a chance.
I looked at him that race, and his Ascot record was worrying. You're right. He's got some pretty good form, hasn't he? John, this is a nightmare. They're putting a hood on Embesto as well. Where are you playing?
Yeah, look, it's a tight one, full of horses that hard to have maximum faith in. Even though it's a Group 3, there's a lot of dodgy horses.
They can all win, can't they?
They probably can.
A bags race, Johnny Simpson.
Yeah, that's not a bad description of it, to be fair. And look, Embesto has slightly less convictions than some of these, and I'd give him a chance to maybe. The fact that he was weak in the betting in his first race, very late, he was really weak. He went, took a big dive out in the betting, and suggested to me that he wasn't 100%. And I just think that I'd give him the benefit of the doubt at 4-1. I think he's more upside than a lot of these.
All right, okay. If you got a tip out of any of that preview, well done, good luck to you. It's a real head scratcher, that. And we're going at a bit of pace this morning, but we won't be going as fast as they're doing. And the 2 dashes, of course. We saw the race arrived at the meeting last year. It's the 3-year-old dash at 3:10. I really like one here, Johnny Simpson, but who's your fav at the minute?
Yeah, at the moment it's Grand Lad. We're paying 5 places here, and we talked about red numbers before. This one is a red number. There's been a lot of money for this horse here. Bits and pieces for due for luck, but playing 5 places, giving punters a lot of value here, because I think you might need it. This will be you need a lot of luck in running.
I go, Keels, to Epsom. If I've ever been, I go trying to get the winner of the dash. It's a magnificent race to try and watch. Okay, I'm pretty sure that the last time I went, my horse is still running, and there's a sliding door of me looking out the back as they all pass. I've never had much luck in it, and you do need luck, right?
You do. I mean, you do at times, but sometimes the horse just bolts out like does a Caspian Prince and bang, he's gone. He's won. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, there's loads of pace in this one. I nearly did the dash double last year. I had the winner of this and had Silky Wilkie in the last that got beat a hair's breadth.
More of him to come.
More of him to come. But I had back 2 horses that I think I've been running over the wrong trip. Billy Webster and Mashadi. Now, Billy Webster is 3 from 3 over 5. Drawn wide last 2 times over 6. Didn't quite finish that strongly at Chester, but he's one of those horses. He actually drops out of the stalls, and then the next minute, he's travelling like mad. Like, what I mean? He's going really strongly, and I think he's going to love it here. Bit surprised with an inexperienced £5 claimer being slung on board, I must admit, but he seems to have been riding quite well, judging on the finishing positions of horses relative to their market position over the last couple of weeks. So I'd give him a try. And the other one is one that everyone was already calling names, is Mashadi.
Oh yeah.
Now, Mashadi, this is definitely a 5-furlong sprinter. And he's gone to Kevin Philippart to 4. He's won 4 times since last year. He's won over 6 and 7. In his career, he's finished second 7 times out of 9.
Yeah. Looking like he's going to win on a 7 occasions.
He's been beaten a less or neck in 5 of them. All right, but last time at Ascot, he was destroying them at 5 furlongs, and he went shot clear, and he just emptied out. Now, obviously, that's a stiff 6, and he clearly gets it reasonably well. But, he's by Blue Point. His dam is a half-sister to a fast horse of Clive Cox's called Priceless. He was an out-and-out 5-furlong sprinter. And I think he's going to be completely different if being drawn that far out in the middle. Depends on the ground. Last 2 times the dash was run on good to soft ground. There wasn't a horse drawn lower than 13 finishing the first 4 in either of them. But it's getting drier, and that bias hasn't been around as much over the last few years as before. We've had 2 winners from 1 and a winner from 2, haven't we, in the last 10 years?
I never seem to know where they're going to come from, but I think on the wing would be good.
I just think he's way ahead of his Mark Mashadi if he is a 5-furlong horse.
Yeah.
And the other possibility, of course, is that he is a hound. So we'll have to wait and see.
From one hound to another. I mean, I was going to say to you, I actually referenced you yesterday when I was on Sky, and I said, I know a judge, I didn't want to name you because, I didn't want all the pelters coming on media. But I said, there is a judge I know that loves a horse in maidens that's got a lot of 2s and 3s next to their name. And there's a reason for that, isn't there? Because every dog has their day.
Yeah, every dog. And often you find when they win 1, they can go on and win like 2 or 3. It's a strange sort of thing that happens. But anyway, the one that I've backed is Enchanting, who again is just keen. Like the one thing that you would say about Enchanting, just keen. She was beaten behind Grand Lad, too keen. She was last time out at York, too keen. I don't think they have to worry about being keen here because they're going to go absolutely bonkers down that hill, and she did just let her go, and it might suit her.
Holly Door.
Yeah.
Coming out of 15. John?
Look, if you were forced me, I'd go due for luck. It was unlucky in Chester. it'll need luck again here. Of course it will. But I think that this side is the side to be on. Is it not normally?
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Stand side is normal, so that's high numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Yeah.
But
I'm hoping so.
I'm going to say in the dash in the last 10 years, there have been 2 winners from stall 1, 1 winner from stall 2, 1 from stall 5. It is not as marked as it used to be years ago.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, imagine naming a horse called Due for Luck before it's even run, and then getting something that's always going to run up the back of horses. That is seemingly what this guy's done so far. I loved his run at Chester last time. I've got him on top as well. Under the Hitman Heart. Right, should we go to the actual dash then? This is where the 3-year-old race has been born from. They'll all be trying to get into it next year, of course, these 3-year-olds. And who's on top for you? The well-backed Silky Wilkie.
Yeah, the 2 Midland Park horses are really solid in the market, and you obviously can see they've got a great chance on form. The horse here, there's been a big move. Is Dream Composer. He's 5 from 16. I must admit, I didn't see this one was the horse for money, but Dream Composer. We're playing 4 places here. He is the big move of the day.
Yeah, he really did come back. Was it Goodwood last time, I think?
He's a proper downhill track horse, but I think he does want a bit of cut as well, doesn't he?
He might find this a bit rapid, mightn't he?
Well, he does. He gets massively outpaced, doesn't he?
Yeah, I bet
and then he does. But then he does charge. I mean, he's a talented horse, but I wouldn't have seen that coming, given that the ground is going to dry out.
But this is the classic thing with sprinters, isn't it? You get peed off with them, you know, and then you jump off them, and they find their form because they keep running. That's what happens. And Gene Graposa is a classic case, and he's a gamble. Joe Levy on, very good 5 being claimed there. John.
Yeah, look,
Is this a race you hate?
Look, Paul said he nearly did the dash double last year.
Well, he absolutely loves it. He sees it like a fruit machine. Whereas
I'll definitely be doing the dash double anyway and having no bet needed.
Aye, absolutely.
If I was forced one, I'd go looking for Linda.
All right, okay. We'll save Mr. Dash for a second. Right, what about you, Jim?
Yeah, I think Holly Doyle might do the dash double.
Here we go.
Looking for Linda.
Quick horse.
Yeah, Quick horse was second last time behind Clarendon House at York. I mean, Clarendon House got an RPR 119 that day. You know, like the average RPR for Group 1 horse is 121. So, you know, Matt Gardner thinks this Clarendon House is a Group 1 horse and will defy top weight. But I think Looking for Linda might make the most of the weight.
She is. Matty G. Yeah, she's in track 1.
Looking for Linda, yeah.
She's rapid.
So you'll be hoping there isn't a bias.
You'd probably have a guy from the previous race, anyway, won't you?
Does that happen in Mr. Dash? Does this happen? Did it happen last year? Did everyone then go, oh, this is what it like you get in the Stewards Cup? You know, the consolation, everyone looks at it and goes, it's got to be there.
No, I mean they all try to emigrate towards the stand side every year, and some of them end up down the middle but still win. Yeah. I mean that's what happens.
Isn't it kind of a race where no matter where you're
there's only 15 in this, remember, right? This is a race that didn't fill, and 5 of them are out in a handicap.
Yeah.
Not as competitive as it was.
Go back 12 months. I can still hear you screaming at the TV.
Oh, how I've still got a TV. I tell you. Like, you know what I mean? But he's £8 lower now.
Silky Wilkie.
He's £19 better off for finishing ahead of Clarendon House in this race. He's incredibly well handicapped if he hasn't just lost that yard of pace, because he doesn't. You know, that's why they put the cheek pieces on, because he seems to get a little bit out of pace now. And he looked very fast when he won at Musselburgh first time up last season, and he absolutely hosed up. And obviously he nearly won this off 107. He's down to 99 now. He's very well handicapped. He's on the rail. Whether he can hold his position on it is another matter, but I think he's got to go very close.
Yeah, all right. The market is suggesting that they put on the cheek pieces. And of course, Carl Berg is on a 3-timer at the meeting already, courtesy of a double there yesterday. So nothing he can't do. Brilliant trainer, isn't he? All right. Remember that we have done the Derby. If you're just watching us, you probably go on X now or whatever and type in the Morning Post and you'll see what the lads have been doing. The social team have been all over that. A reminder that City of Troy is the boost to finish first, second or third in the Derby. Was 8 to 11 on, no more. 6 to 4, and that is live now on the site and the app as well at William Hill, who's getting involved with that. Place laying, none of us have got him, I don't think, in our top 3. Nick Luck, however, who joined us earlier on, number 1. I'm sure a lot of you will say that. All right, let's move on. It'll be 5:15 until the next race is run at Epsom. It's over the same course and distance and wide open. But again, if the racing gods are there, a couple of these will surely fight out the finish. Johnny Simpson, who's been hot and who's not?
Yeah, a little competitive race here. We're playing 4 places, and Ziggy, I think, has got an outstanding form chance. Qatari on a 4-timer, that's fairly weak. But the horse here, and there's a fair tip going around from it. People who would know, Relentless Voyager, 5 from 8. That is really, really strong at the moment.
For the Relentless Dreamers and a partner. Okay, all right, and so that's the gamble. Andrew Balding, Oisin Murphy. A lot of people thinking Oisin's going to have a good day today. Kills Ziggy last time out, bumped into one, it's fair to say, in the Met or whatever it is, or the City and Suburban.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and you can certainly see the form claims on that. I have backed 2 in a race. One of them is Relentless Voyager. Just because I heard that it was rather well fancied more than anything else. But he was third in the Derby, in Italia Derby last year.
Yeah.
Had various issues which are now over, and he was quite eye-catching on his return.
Relentless Voyager.
The other one I thought just was overpriced was Lucando. I know he's 7. But I think he's been pretty much the form of his life in Bahrain. He was twice better at the weights than Isle of Jura, first 2 times he ran over there. Obviously, he got beat by the next 3 times, but let's remember she's rated 112 now after winning in this little company in Goodwood. When he was 5th to her, the 4th was King's Conquest, who just got beat by Middle Earth. He's rated 114.
Yeah.
And he was giving £3, and he was a half a length behind. And Lucanda was held up in a steadily run race last year and thrashed everything that was held up with him in this, but couldn't get anywhere near the front 2. They're going to go faster in this race. It's a bigger field. There's more pace pressure. I just think he's just going to run well. He's obviously not going to be a progressive horse at the age of 7, but I like horses that handle the track. He clearly handled it well, and I think he'll run well again.
All right, okay. Fine, that's Kills. John?
Again, a hard race. Qatar is improving. I know he's climbing the weights now. He's gone up in 5s and that, but I think he'll run well at the same time. I think he'll give a good run for him. I'd expect him to be placed. Now, he may not win, but I think he'll be placed at the same time.
He produced one of the slowest sectionals at Windsor when winning I've ever done. And he's gone and confounded me by winning his next 2. I thought that'll be his big day and so on. Typical Gary Moore project. Gee.
If Not Now is the one that I've backed here.
Like that.
Rafe Beckett. I was at Lingfield that day of the trials day, and from the way that I felt straight after the races, I felt that Imeric race and the Oaks trial looked better races than the Derby trial to the eye. And this If Not Now finished 3rd in that race behind Imeric, who is on the verge of being group class, and True Legend, who came on and was beating a short head next time at Goodwood. The form's quite good, and if you watch it back, coming down, Lingfield's like Tattenham Corner, isn't it? Coming down Tattenham Corner, he didn't really handle it great, If Not Now, and he ran right up the back of Imeric, and then that put him right on the back foot. Then he stayed on to finish 3rd, well clear of the rest of the front 3. I think with that experience behind him of having been round Lingfield, if he does get a clean run round Tattenham Corner, I think he'll show an improved effort, and that might be good enough here, Dave.
Yeah, well, I agree. Watch that back. I had this between Ziggy and If Not Now as well. All right, that's the penultimate race. The last is a 6 furlong sprint. I remember going to the track, Johnny Simpson. You used to have to want a low draw. Danny Nichols used to always line one up for it. Used to be a great betting race. It looks like a hot market to me again. And we've got last year's 2nd and 3rd reopposing, Apollo 1 and Mr. Wagyu.
Yeah, well, I think we've got the first
and
3.
Badri.
Badri. Yeah, Badri. He's a little bits and pieces at 11s, but the money is for Mr. Wagyu. I mean, it's obviously been teed up for this race again. Apollo 1 got a significantly better draw than he did last year, but yeah, we're paying 4 places. Not fair spread of business at the moment. I suspect there'll be the getting out stakes at some point in this race.
I forgot that Badger was in the race because he's done nothing, has he, this year?
No.
He's got first-time GPs on Ollie.
Quite often tends not to matter when they come back to the big race they won a year before, doesn't it? But
are you suggesting this is the plan?
No. I'm a Mr. Wagyu man. I mean, he obviously has been preparing for it. He won it off 94 2 years ago. He was 3rd off 96 last year. He's got one of the weirdest records in horse racing, isn't he? He's 15 from 34 in June or July and 0 from 51 at any other time of his life, which is absolutely mad. His second first time out this season, his RPO of 99 made it the 11th best run of his life out of 85 runs, and that suggests he certainly hasn't lost that much of his ability at the age of 9. Wasn't quite as good at York last time, but certainly didn't run a bad race. I think he's been primed for it. He's running off 90 this time. He's got to go close. And he had an outside draw when he won it, I think. So yeah, I just think he's going to run well, isn't he? Yeah,
another nod to Nick Luck, who fancies that as well in the last. Another race that you'll be loving, Johnny Dineen, no doubt.
Yeah, look, it's a lottery to me, and it's a difficult race. A lot of these there were like closely matched from last year. I think Apollo won, Mr. Wagyu and Badri were in the first 3 or 4 last year, like heads and things like that, separating them. It all depends on a bit of luck again here. I was given that a chance. Russ had goal, but it's a horrific draw. It's drawn out on the outside. You couldn't fancy that, I don't think, from that kind of... Like, too much has to go right from that kind of draw. If you force me, I'd go with maybe Badries, only £2 higher than last year. And sometimes the gammy runs that they have in between don't really matter at times.
Who's going to least the run gammiest in there?
The handicap mark runs, aren't they?
Yeah.
I thought Misty Gray had a good chance, in really good form at the moment, and I think he's got 2-2-3, 3-2-1. Came on good last time at Newcastle. Might be one of those that we were talking earlier about, Dave. A bunch of places and then suddenly gets a couple of wins on the road.
And he's drawn in one.
Drawn in one. David O'Mara has booked Ross Orion for the ride. I thought it was quite eye-catching. I think the horse is in the form of its life. He'll need to be. Obviously, he's gone up in the weights for his Newcastle win, but I think he's sure to run well, Misty Gray.
All right, amazingly, we got through it. Well done, ladies and gentlemen. That is Epsom pretty much done. Tomorrow, 3 or 5 at Chantilly. I'll be trying to tee you up for the French Derby. And a lot of people saying this is a better race. Let's get the market on. Finally, he's made his way to favouritism, Johnny Simpson. It's Fast Tracker, of course, is a bit to do what Ace Impact did basically last year and breaking all the trends, not having run as a juvenile, progressing massively through the year, won the same trial as Ace Impact as well, now been bought by Wathnan. James Doyle takes the ride, he's been over for a spin, drawn in 5, what's not to like?
Yeah, I mean, this fella looks an absolute monster, doesn't he? He's 4-1. He was 5-1 earlier in the week. And his favourite will be keen to be with him. We're playing 4 places here. And there's our friend Diego Velasquez, if you remember from the first show, we took him on then and we'll be taking him on again here. I just don't think he's that good. I'll be siding with something like Luc de Vega here at the prices.
Yeah. He's very well fancied as well. He's only had 2 runs, but Ronan Thomas is jockeying. Thinks it's by far the best he's ever ridden. Have you had a look at this?
I think it's a really good race, and it's a very tough one to call because Ghostwriter obviously has probably got the best form, I would say. I mean, that Guinness form looks quite good, doesn't it? Hartem and Inisharian has come out and won, and obviously Rosalian was second. He was in amongst them. But, you know, will he stay, I suppose, is the question.
I think he will. I think everything about him screams a mile
Clive
2.
Cox doesn't train many winners over this distance. Admittedly, he trains basically sprinters, and I think he had 2 winners over in 1 1/4 last year.
Yeah.
That's my slight concern, but I think he's got the ability. I don't know much about the French horses, but Johnny Pearson, our French handicap, has given Fast Tracker 113 for his absolute demolition job over course last time. You know, if he's right, it'll win, won't it?
He's potentially a very, very good horse. Johnny Dineen had a little look?
Again, I don't know a lot about the French horses. The 2 that stick out to me are Ghost Rider and Diego Velasquez. I do think Ghost Rider is probably the best horse. Whether he's probably get a chance of getting around bends. He'd probably stay 10 furlongs here.
From Soul 2, he'd have every chance.
Yeah, I think he's the one I'd go with, yeah.
Yeah, Richard Kingscote kills.
I'd forgive Sunway and give him one more chance at that price, I think.
David
Manuzzi is absolutely convinced he's
Yeah.
the best horse he's ever trained. He hasn't yet showed it, but I'd give him one more chance.
Seems mad that he's not ahead of Alcantara in the race who we beat last year, of course. Sozie's got a chance as well. It's a really, really good race. It's 3:05. We could be seeing a new Arc favourite tomorrow. Good luck to Clive Cox and Ballydawn, all the British runners going over there as well. All right, OK, time to draw breath again. We've got a nice little feature coming for you after this. Stick with us before the naps. Oh, I thought it was an advert. It says on the running order there is. I'll point you towards the members club in that case. All right, Rod Ascot is on the horizon. And we're going to have a little multiple go, chaps, are we? We've been taxing you for this.
Well, yeah, I only found out on Thursday. Well, let's get multiple on Derby
Doubtless
Day.
you've been looking since
And
last December, Kealy.
Then I actually got quite into it, as I tend to do, yeah.
Well, it's all out there, isn't it? Most of the markets are done, Johnny Simpson. We've got some lucky 15s coming up from the gents for everyone out there. So get ready for this. Social team will be clipping up as well. I think we've done this before, John, haven't we, for Cheltenham and the likes. Let's get them up and Johnny can talk us through them. Who's going first, producers? I'm tempted to say it'll be Paul Kealy.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because you've been moaning about it all the last 48 hours, apparently.
Well, right, if you are going to have a lucky 15, then you might as well have it at prices. I don't believe in all these 64 shots and all stuff like that. So let's go for it, right? In a Queen Anne, which I think there was a middle track bias that day. Right, and Witch Hunter's come down the stand side and beaten all the others. He's beaten Isbile, he's beaten Big Rock. He's been placed in a big field handicap at Ascot. He won a big field handicap at Ascot last year. They'll go fast, audience, Big Rock, etc. Again, it won't suit the front runners anywhere near as much as Newbury does. and Witch Hunter is a massive price. I'm going to miss out River Tiber for a minute because I want to get onto him in a bit more detail. But Sonny Liston absolutely hacked up at Newbury the other day. He's in the Hunt Cup, was second in the race last year. I thought 16 to 1's a big price. I was actually trying to talk Richard Walker, who runs the Chelsea Thoroughbreds, to supplement him for the Queen Anne, but it's 70 grand and he won't do it. So. And Coltrane, second in the Gold Cup last year, won at Ascot again this year. Already, he's as solid as a rock. He probably won't beat Kip Frios, but I can't see him being out of the first three. So why not? And River Tiber is the maddest price I've ever seen of any horse anti-post, and it's purely because he's got an entry in the Commonwealth Cup. But believe you me, that was not the run of a sprinter in the Irish Guineas last time. And if he wasn't in that, everybody would be saying this horse will beat those two next time. It was his first run of the season. He's had 3 cracks with the whip, given them a ridiculously easy looking ride from Ryan Moore compared to the other two. Rosaline got it 6 times, Hartem 7. He's also in the Eclipse, people might not have noticed, so they weren't absolutely sure where to go with him. But he definitely stayed a mile. He's only beaten a length and a quarter or so, 16 to 1, first time out for the St James's Palace Stakes. River Tiber, that is a crazy price.
And what does that pay, Johnny Simpson?
I think it's just shy of 100,000 for the accumulator.
All right. That's a lucky 15, of course. Is that a pound on then, is it, or 50p? Yeah, pound on, all right. Kill's trying to knock it out of the park. Johnny Dineen, what did you come up with? Did you get into it as Kills did?
Yeah, I looked at him closely, but I was a bit more conservative than
Well, when we saw the email with Kills' lucky 15, we went, he's having a pop.
My lucky 15, you wouldn't buy an underpants, even if it wins.
What underpants do you wear? Okay.
Look, I just try to keep it simple.
Yeah.
I like Notable Speech. Like 5 to 4 is not to say that a century. He'd be definitely more than that, because Rosaline is going to run, and if River Tiber turns up, I do think that he won the Guineas on merit. I think he'll hold Rosaline again. Rogue Millennium ran well last weekend. It just got hemmed in at a vital stage. It won the race last year. It has a good chance in a tricky race. Whistle Jacket is a certainty in
I
Ascot.
knew this was coming.
In Ascot.
When I saw this on the email, I thought this is the one we're going to get the clip out of Johnny for.
I think it is a moral. It's the one horse. I don't really go mad for Ascot. This is the one horse I definitely will be back in the.
This is it, and it's 7-2 at the minute, Johnny. Is it?
It is 7-2. When the Norfolk came through us on the selections, we had a chuckle. Oh no, he's found it. Whistle Jacket. Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's got a great chance at Ascot.
All right, okay. You're getting singles or doubles, all sorts of things going on here. And the last one?
The last one's continuous. There isn't many could win that race. He was the most likely one. Like O'Brien can bring horses here first time and win. So, but of the 4, if I had to pick one, there's no question it's Whistle Jacket.
Whistle Jacket. Whistle Jacket. Straight Jacket.
I'm very pleased that we got asked to do this, because I've had a few bets anti-post already on some of these. Passenger, I've actually backed him at 8, so 9 to 4 is a bit shorter than I've got, but I still think he'll win. I thought he was very, very impressive when he won at Chester in a really good time, and he did it so easy, the way he travelled, the way he put the race to bed. I'll be surprised if anything beats him. He's got a typical Sir Michael Stout profile, hasn't he? Improve as they get older.
Hard to knock.
Gregory in the Gold Cup has been well beaten, obviously first time out at York, but before that race, John Gosden was so keen to stress that was nothing more than a trial, and the horse desperately needs 2.5 miles. You watch all of his races, he's a dour stayer, that's all he does. I think that 2.5 miles will really suit him. Jassor was very impressive when he won the trial there, wasn't he? He's got a very good turn of foot. I like course form. And the other one, Mitt Barhy.
Oh, don't.
In the Jubilee Stakes.
I forgot he was running last. It was so bad at the Guineas weekend. I forgot he was running. I nearly napped. We went all round the panel, didn't we? And put Mitt Barhy up, and Jamie Spencer on Art Power, of course, last week. And what a ride. Big chance. If
Jamie Spencer can win the Jubilee on Cardim, he can definitely win it on Mitt Barhy. If there was a horse made for the Jubilee Stakes, it's Mitt Barhy. He'll hide and hide and hide and hide, and he'll fly home like he did at Curragh.
Which pays £3,212. Kills is absolutely. we're absolutely loving life. If you're going to do it, do it. That was fun, wasn't it? 3 lucky 15s for you to have a go at. It's all live now, of course. Get involved. What a great clip that was. That was fun. Right, talking of fun, it's the business end of the show. Great to have you with us this morning. It is nearly coming to the end, which means it's nap time. Let's go through the panel. Graeme Rodway. There they are. Who have you gone for?
I've gone for If Not Now in the 5:15 at Epsom for Rafe Beckett and Russell Ryan.
For all the aforementioned reasons. Johnny Dineen.
I'll go Ancient Wisdom in the Derby. I think he's rock solid place material, minimum anyway.
Going for Glory. Keels.
Silky Wilkie, compensation for last year.
Making it easy, go for the dash. I've gone for the 3-year-old dash as well, due for luck. And are these the boosted prices, Johnny?
They are. These are the boosted prices. Yes, got due for luck 13-2, Slicky Wilkie 11-2. If Not Now, up to 10-1. Ancient Wisdom 7-1, which I imagine will be very popular. And I'm going to go for Chic Columbine. She could not win from stall 16 in France. I think she's much better than that, so I'm going to have a go there, 5-1.
I could sense in your voice earlier, Johnny, that you were keen on that one. All right, there they are. They're live now, basically, and good to go on the site, on the app as well. That brings us to a conclusion. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the screen. Healthy numbers that I was looking in at one point, looking at the chat. Great to have you with us. This is Derby Day. Great to be around. City of Troy. There you go, 4:30. Tune in. Even if you're not having a bet in the race, we must watch it. Johnny, great to have you over as ever.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed it, Jeff. Very good.
Brilliant stuff. Keels?
Yeah, enjoyed it, mate. Yeah, looking forward to going home and watching the
your
race.
Protest at 4:25 on the track.
I'm going to be sitting in front of the telly. I can almost hear the shouts from my back garden.
Is that right? Okay.
Not quite.
And
but.
good luck at the track today.
Thanks, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, go and join the mosh pit.
Yeah, absolutely. Go and join the mosh pit. All right, great stuff. Wherever you're watching the Derby, fantastic. French Derby tomorrow. It's a classic weekend. This has been a Classic Morning Post. We'll be back next Saturday.